There are a lot of interesting patterns that one can observe from the latest demonetization drive. I will leave a link below if you haven't watched my earlier video on all you need to know about demonetization. If you have been following the news, you would have heard the opposition blaming the government on the ever-changing rules and that things haven't been thought through. On the other hand, the government defends itself by saying it's a cat and mouse game and everything could not have been thought through. Let us see against the timeline what are some of the changes that both the parties are talking about. On 8th November 2016, the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, announced demonetization of Rs1000 and Rs500 notes with immediate effect from 0000 hours of 9th November. The reason for this was to reduce black money from the economy and eradicate the flow of counterfeit notes which was used for terror funding. The move to demonetize was kept top secret and only around 5 to 10 people among the 1.2 billion population knew of this operation. The operation had to be kept secretive until the public announcement so as to catch black money hoarders and counterfeit circulators unawares. Considering that this was a surprise move of invalidating around 83% of currency from the market, the government decided to accept the older notes in selected places such as fuel stations, airplane and railway ticket reservations and government hospitals. People who had the old 1000 and 500 notes could deposit them in their bank accounts till 31st December and there was no limit to the amount that they could deposit. So in that sense, no one was losing money unless they had huge stashes of black or counterfeit notes. Those who wanted to exchange the old notes to the new Rs2000 notes for their daily use could do so. However, the limit for the exchange was capped at Rs4000 per day. This was capped anticipating the shortage in supply of notes as the new notes would have to reach all corners of the country. ATM withdrawals were capped at Rs2000 per day and cash withdrawals from bank was capped at 10,000 per day and 20,000 per week. On 9th November, people travelling in the metros couldn't use old currency, nor did most have new currency, and there was a huge pileup of cars and trucks on the highways toll plaza for want of new currency and change. Therefore, government added metro stations, archaeological survey of India monuments, toll plazas and government medical hospital shop to the exception list where they could now accept the old 500 and 1000 notes. On 10th, based on the advice from the opposition parties and other stakeholders, the government informed that those paying educational fees, taxes, charges, penalties, water and electricity bills to central, state, municipal or local bodies can pay using the old Rs500 and 1000 notes. The government also declared that no toll would be charged in the toll plazas till 11th November. On 11th November, it was observed that there was a huge spike in the booking of flights and trains using the old currency notes. This was done by black money hoarders to convert their black to white by booking using the old notes through fake IDs and then cancelling them and getting the refund with the new currency. Observing this, the airlines were directed not to issue refunds for cancellations of those tickets which were booked using the old notes. Similarly, the railways stopped issuing refunds for cancellation of those tickets booked using the old notes for 10,000 or more. Railways informed that all refund will be only through ECS, that is bank transfer. With respect to the toll fee, it was decided to extend the toll-free travel till 14th November. On 13th November, reviewing the cash crunch, the toll-free travel was extended to 18th November. Cooperative banks were asked not to collect the old demonetized notes as most of these banks were dominated by politicians and most of these banks weren't also computerized, therefore a haven for converting black money to white. As promised, the government increased the exchange limit of old notes from 4,000 to 4,500, ATM withdrawal from 2,000 a day to 2,500 a day, and the cash withdrawal from the bank was raised to 24,000 per week with no limit on daily withdrawals. On 14th November, RBI announced waiving off of ATM charges for all transactions from 10th November to 30th December. This was to enable people to use any bank's ATM or use their debit cards for online transactions without having to bear an extra transaction charge, as is otherwise the norm. It was observed that there were huge queues outside all banks and ATMs. There were news that the black money hoarders were using touts multiple times a day to exchange money. Therefore, on 15th November, the banks were instructed to use inedible inks to mark people coming to exchange money. This was to ensure that a person visits a bank only once a day. After this was implemented, the queues drastically dropped. However, Election Commission objected to the use of inedible ink because some of the states had local body elections and the use of inedible ink would confuse their officers during voting. The money crunch continued. Therefore, on 17th November, the toll-free travel was again extended till 24th November. The exchange limit was reduced from 2,500 to 2,000 rupees a day. To reduce the queues in ATMs, additional facility to withdraw new notes up to 2,000 from select fuel stations through the use of POS machines was implemented. For farmers, the cash withdrawal was increased to 25,000 considering it was the time for sowing Rabi crop, and the agri traders were allowed to withdraw up to 50,000 a week. Those who had weddings could withdraw up to 2.5 lakhs as a one-time withdrawal. On 21st November, the cash crunch still existed. Therefore, farmers having the old 500 and 1000 notes were allowed to use them to buy seeds. By this time, the rate of deposit of old notes were going up in the banks, indicating that black money holders were finding ways to channelize their money back into the system. On 24th November, the acceptance of rupees 1000 in fuel stations and other places were stopped. Only rupees 500 were accepted in fuel stations, airlines, mobile recharge, water and power bills, government-run schools and colleges. And the toll-free travel was extended to 2nd December. On 28th November, the cash withdrawal limit was waived off based on the new notes deposited by an individual. For others, the regular cash withdrawal limit of 24,000 per week remained. On 30th November, it was seen that thousands of Jan Dhan accounts, that is, accounts of the poorest of the poor who had nil balances, now had huge surge in deposits of 2 to 2.5 lakhs. The black money holders were converting their black money by depositing through these poor people and providing them a commission. Therefore, the government put a cap on the withdrawal limit of these accounts to 10,000 per month. To further curb leaks, on 1st December, it was announced that the usage of old 500 notes in fuel stations and airlines was allowed only till 2nd December instead of 15th December. On 8th December, it was announced that the usage of old 500 notes in railways, metro and bus was allowed only till 10th December. To curtail the misuse of accounts, on 15th December, it was announced that those accounts with greater than 2 lakh deposit post demonetisation and balances greater than 5 lakh cannot withdraw without furnishing PAN card, or they would need to submit Form 60 if they did not have a PAN card. On 19th December, RBI announced that deposits greater than 5,000 in old notes can be made only once. If an account does not have KYC, deposit could be restricted to 50,000. This caused a lot of concern. Therefore, on 21st December, this was partially rolled back, where it was revised that deposits greater than 5,000 in old notes can be made multiple times till 30th December provided the account is KYC compliant. As you can see, there has been a continuous feedback loop which was used frequently to modify the rules. A decade ago, a good corporate strategy was one which could envision far into the future and remain stable throughout the course of execution. A decade later, such companies have either gone broke or are trying hard to stay relevant. In today's dynamic environment, a good corporate strategy is not just to envision the future, but to also build feedback loops so that the strategy can be adapted on the run. A rigid strategy is no longer considered a good strategy. Agility has been embraced not just in product development, but also in strategy formulation. We have been used to governments where things are thought through in ministerial and bureaucratic corridors with 5-year plans and once the implementation starts, seldom is anyone in the government machinery ready to change in spite of the nature of results. So similar to corporates, is a nimble and agile government a requirement to be successful, or should policy changes be avoided as plague and a more dormant environment is required for economic development? I leave it to my viewers to comment. If you found this video informative, do like it and share it. And do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much.